everybody, welcome to a new video.
We only need the two of us together. I need only you in this crazy world. 'Cause we got love, love. I need only you here with me.
So, hasn't January gone so quickly? I can't believe it is like February next Tuesday, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, also I just quickly want to apologise for the mess in the background. We are now sleeping in this room, so this is no longer just my like where I sit to film, it is where we actually sleep now. But yeah, anyway, today's video is going to be everything that we have watched in January. Okay, so January was quite big for TV shows and things going onto Netflix. Like Netflix had a big coming soon section on their obviously website and on their app and things of all the things that were coming in January in December, and I had so many reminders on for things that were coming up that I wanted to watch, and then things that I've just randomly found as well, which sounds amazing. And there's still loads of things that I want to watch which are going to be going into February, because obviously can't watch everything. But yeah, so many things have come out on so many different platforms. The only platform I don't have at the moment is Amazon Prime. My parents have that, but I haven't got around to actually like logging into theirs and like looking what's on there just yet. And I don't have Now TV movies, but I do really want that because there's a bunch of movies that's been put on that we were going to have at the cinema that we never obviously ended up having. So yeah, that's something that will be coming next. But I currently have Now TV, Entertainment, Netflix and Disney Plus. So yeah, let's get on with the lists. Okay, so we'll start with TV because there is way less of TV. And I am going to try and do quick fire again because yeah, there's a couple to get through and I don't want to be rambling. So the first TV show we watched, well I watched on my own, was the big one that everybody has been watching recently, and it is Bridgerton. And I loved Bridgerton. I mean, it gets pretty raunchy in the middle and it starts out very period drama, which is essentially what it is, but it was just so like enticing. Like every single episode left you on a thing where you're like, I need to watch the next one, like I need to know what happens. Like I definitely binged it in 2 days. I will just check how long the episodes are. So each episode was actually an hour long, which is why it took me 2 days to binge, because I think I watched 5 episodes a day for like 2 days straight when Tom was at work. But yeah, they were worth it. Like you didn't feel like it was an hour, and you were just so like into each character's individual stories and then how they intertwined that you just really needed to watch it. But it was so strange that even people who don't like period dramas, like I'm not really a period drama person. Like I don't mind things, like I don't mind the Pride and Prejudice like film, and I'm like halfway through The Crown, but I'm not, I wouldn't say that I am like a lover of that, but I loved Bridgerton. I think it really is like one of those things where you just get gripped in the like who is it part of a mystery. Like, it isn't even a mystery, it's just like you just need to know essentially. In Bridgerton there is a like bunch of different families, and all of the girls have come of age and they are now seeking marriage and like to start a family. And there is this newspaper that's going around, and it's by a mystery woman, and you don't know who is writing this newspaper, but everybody just wants to be made to look good in it. But yeah, so the who is it part of the TV show is just, you just really need to know, and then everybody's trying to work it out as you watch each episode. You're like, could it be them, could it be them? And then by the end, I won't give any spoilers away, but I didn't get it. I mean, I can see it now, I 100% can see it now, but I didn't guess it. So if you did, well done. But yeah, it was just so good. It was very raunchy, but it really like made you feel each character's emotions a lot more in depth, if that makes sense. Like the fact that you saw each character's like personal lives and social lives in each way made you feel for each character more in every individual way. But yeah, I really loved it. If you like things like that, in that it's like drama and who did it and like romance all at the same time, definitely watch Bridgerton if you haven't already. If you haven't, where have you been? Okay, so the next one me and Tom watched together, and we finished Big Hero 6 the series season 2, and we think that this is going to be the end. Like, they ended it perfectly in a way that they don't need to pick it back up again, and Disney have announced that they are doing a new Baymax TV show, so I presume that how they ended it is how they're going to end it. But yeah, it was really nice. Like, all of the Big Hero 6 came together and they defeated their like overall enemies and nemesises and like saved the town of San Francisco, and yeah, they all ended up in a happy place at their graduation, so they're done. Like, they're not going to be back at the school anymore, so it was a nice way to end it off. And if you did like Big Hero 6 the film and you do like animated TV shows, I would definitely say watch Big Hero 6 the series, because it was just a nice continuation of the film and the storylines that were in it, and they're only 20 minutes long, so we watched them like with breakfast and things like that, and it was just a nice way to like, it was a nice like gentle TV show to watch, and you could have it on in the background but you would get like drawn into bits of it, and yeah, it was just really good. Like, it was a nice extension of that story arc and all of those characters within the city of San Francisco. The next one we are currently watching, and it is Modern Family season 11. We're almost done and I honestly want to cry. I've got 3 episodes left. And it's so nice. Like, this season, I don't know if it's because it's the last season and I know it's the last season and I've waited so long for it, and I've watched all of it again ready to watch this last one. It feels slightly different, but the more I'm like watching it again, it doesn't. It just feels like, feels homey. Like how Gilmore Girls makes me feel, in the way that when I watch it I can just relax and it brings me overall happiness. Like, so does this, in a like the same but different way, because it is like so much more funny. Like, it has quippy bits that are meant to be like laugh out loud moments. It just brings me joy to watch. Like, I can just put it on and chill out and do anything and watch it, and I'll get drawn into it and laugh along with them. And yeah, you just feel like you are part of their family when you watch it. It's really nice. Like, it is really nice, and it makes me sad to think that this is the last season and I'm never going to be able to get a new episode of it again, but I would gladly watch it again over all 11 seasons. I really don't want to get to the last episode because I know I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna cry, because it's like the end. But yeah, it's like when you finish a good book. It's, yeah. But I'm really enjoying the characters' like progression, and they're all grown up and growing up and getting the families of their own. But yeah, definitely watch Modern Family if you haven't. Like, I know some people have started Modern Family because myself and a bunch of other YouTubers and Instagrammers are watching it, and it's made them want to watch it and they're really enjoying it, so I'm glad. So if you have started watching anything I've ever said, put it down in the comments and we can definitely chat about it together. Okay, so number 4 is Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionist. So I watched all of Pretty Little Liars way back when, probably like 9-10 years ago, when it was on Netflix. It's now gone off Netflix, but BBC iPlayer has it, which is crazy, but I love it. So I didn't rewatch Pretty Little Liars. I started rewatching it when I was on Netflix, and then they took it off like 7 episodes when I was 7 episodes in. So yeah, I didn't want to rewatch it again because I saw Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionists, which is like, I'd never heard of it. I didn't know it was a thing, but essentially it's all about Alison and Mona, and they are in a school, and then like this school is having some dramas, and then they're trying to help them out with their drama. So yeah, it's very similar but a lot more like grown up, and it's got the girl from Descendants and Feel the Beat and all of that in it, which is crazy. I think her name is Sophia. Yeah, Sophia Carlson, something like that. Anyway, but she's in it, and she seems to be in everything at the moment, but if I see her in it I'm like, oh, it has to be like semi-decent. And it's all right. Yeah, I've got 1 episode left and I want to know what's going to happen. Like, they've revealed like the A, but I want to know what's going to happen with the last episode. So yeah. And then the last thing I just wanted to mention, because I have started it but I haven't obviously finished it, I've watched 2 episodes, and it's Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, season 4. So yeah, that's mad as well. It's crazy how many TV shows are getting so many series these days. I'm so used to watching like BBC dramas where it's like 5 episodes and that's it. But yeah, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I enjoyed the first episode, it was good, and I'm liking the direction it's currently going in, but I can kind of see where it is heading, if that makes sense. Like from the first episode I can see like what sort of things lie ahead. I don't want to give any spoilers, and I also don't know what's going to happen, so I can't like say about it myself, but I am looking forward to seeing what does happen and whether what I think is going to happen is going to start. If you've never watched Sabrina, it's about a girl who lives in Greendale. Yeah, of course it's Greendale because it's like bordering with Riverdale. Which I'm also going to start. That's my thing after all of these things that I'm watching. It's Riverdale season 5. But yeah, Sabrina, if you've never watched it, it's about a girl who is a witch in a town called Greendale, and she has a cat called Salem, so it's on the same lines as Sabrina the Teenage Witch, similar lines. She lives with her 2 aunties who are also witches, but she is in like a coven with her aunties, being all witchy, but she also is part human and she wants to be in the human world. So she has human friends and witch friends, warlock friends, and all of that, and it's about her like double life and how she is like dealing with it and how she is being in both lives, and then obviously they both collide and all of that jazz. Season 4, way past that, but if you've never watched it before, that is the general gist of the first season. If you like witchy warlocky things, then definitely give it a go. Okay, on to films. There's quite a few films, so I'm just going to run through them real quick. We have watched on Disney Plus and Netflix this month. I'll go through the ones that I watched with Tom first. There's only a couple, so we'll start with Disney Plus, and that is Togo. The first one we watched was Togo, and that was on a watch party with Helen and Martin, and it was really nice. It was nice to have it on a watch party as well, because we kind of talked about it as it went on. But it gave me 8 Below vibes. If you've ever seen 8 Below, which has the Ryan guy who was in Fast and Furious, I can't remember what his name is. But it has him in it, and it's about sled dogs. Togo is about a real life man and his sled dog team, but Togo was his lead sled dog, and he went across a whole state to go and get some medicine for his town and then brought it back again. But he goes over this like big ice lake or something like that. I can't really remember too much, but I can't remember like the names of things, but it was so good. I really enjoyed it, and you actually love this dog so much when you're watching it. Like, you grow attachments with the dog as you would a character in a TV show. It's so nice, especially if you love dogs, because I love dogs so much. So if you have that sort of like instant feeling like I do, then this film is so emotional and so like joyous at the same time. It's so nice, and it's funny as well, but it was really good. It was really nice. Like, it's very much a true story kind of film. Like, true stories are kind of filmed in a similar way every time because it sticks to obviously factual points. But it was really nice. Like, I really wanted to look up the actual dog when the film was finished, and the actual man who led the sled dogs and did all of those heroic things. But yeah, it was just really good. So if you have a spare 2 hours or a spare evening and you fancy something that's set in Antarctica and is about dogs, definitely give it a watch. The other one that we watched with Helen and Martin as a group watch was Mulan. So none of us had seen it yet, and we all said we quite enjoyed it. So I don't know why so many people gave it such a bad rep. I think people didn't like it because it had no like Mushu in it or anything like that, and it didn't have any of the like songs with lyrics in. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done in respect for the culture and the country and all of that, and it did have bits of songs in. Like, it had reflections in instrumental form a lot, and that was really nice. Like, they put it in the right places. And then they did things like in the song A Girl Worth Fighting For, one of the lines is it doesn't matter what she looks like, I only care about what she cooks like. And a character actually says that. Like, they put bits of the Disney animation into it, so it's really good. I really enjoyed it, and I thought the actress played the character really well. Yeah, you could tell that she had the same emotion, and you got the same emotion as what you did when you watched the animation film, with how she wants to protect her family but also like get honour for her country and all of that. I just really enjoyed it. I don't know, I'm not sure why people gave it so much hate as they did when they first watched it, but I thought it was pretty good. If you haven't watched it yet and you were on the fence about it, I would say give it a watch. Basically everything I've said so far you can give a watch. I have enjoyed everything this month. So the last one that me and Tom watched together on Disney Plus was Soul, and this is another one that everyone was on the fence about. People thought it was too deep, people thought it was too much for children, people thought it just lacked storyline and all of that, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was just so wholesome and just gave me, you know, when you get that fuzzy feeling and you just say, oh, I really enjoyed that, and you don't really have words for it afterwards. You just say, oh yeah, it was really nice. That is what I was like. I just felt relaxed after watching it, and I just thought that it just gave me happiness. Essentially it is about, the whole moral of the whole film, just to enjoy life and enjoy every moment of every day and every tiny aspect of the world around you. And yeah, it gave me that feeling. Yeah, it was good. It had its quippy little funny bits, it had visually amazing scenes, and the music in it was really good at the points that it needed to be really good. Like, it doesn't have an extensive soundtrack, but the jazz in it that it showcased was just, yeah, it was really good. And I think, if I am correct, the actual jazz musician lady that they put, like, he goes and auditions for, she is quite a famous jazz musician or something like that. They are quite pushing her anyway, so I feel like she is famous in some way. I'm not too sure. If I am really disrespecting this lady, then I am very sorry. I'm just not up on the jazz scene. And yeah, their little like soul characters are really cute as well. Okay, the next one that I watched on my own, I watched Black Beauty with my friend Emma on Watch Party, and it was nice. It wasn't as good as the original Black Beauty. Like, the original Black Beauty was set a long time ago, and you can tell that they tried to modernise this Black Beauty, because they wouldn't have put in half the stuff that they put in the original Black Beauty, definitely not. But it did have the same sort of lines, and it did have the same sort of idea and story-ish line. They just changed it to make it a lot more relatable and realistic for these times, like this year. And that's fine. It was nice. It was nice to watch a different version of the same story and a different view on how something could happen in that way. So Black Beauty is essentially about a horse that gets rescued, and then somebody gets really attached to it. So in the original one it's a guy, and then in this one it's a young girl, and yeah, they get really attached to this horse, and they make this bond with this horse that they end up calling Black Beauty, but then it has to be sold, and it gets moved around from town to town, place to place, and the person who had it originally couldn't afford to keep it, and then by the end of the film they want to be able to get Black Beauty back. But Black Beauty goes through all of these, like in the original films, these horrific things where they don't love the horse, and they don't care for it very well, and they just want it to work and all of that. And it's the same in this one, obviously not in the same way as the original one, because in the original one they gave it like a bit with spikes on to get it to do as it's told and things like that, and they would not do that nowadays, like animal cruelty and all of that. So yeah, it had the same bones, it just didn't have the same sort of thing. Like in the original one you really feel for Black Beauty, but in this one, obviously because it is like things like that wouldn't happen nowadays, it just kind of goes through a working life and gets rescued quite early. It gave me the same sort of feel, but not as intensely as the original one, but it was nice. It was a nice afternoon, evening watch for me and Emma, because we both really loved the original one. Okay, and then the last thing that I have been watching on Disney Plus, me and Tom have been watching all of the classics all the way through together. So we are currently on, our next one is Alice in Wonderland, and obviously I'm not going to talk about these because everybody loves the original Disney classics films, you know, the ones with the numbers on the spine and just Disney's classic films. So yeah, we are working through them, but me and Olivia, we've been working for our own classics. High School Musical. So Friday, as this comes out, we will be watching High School Musical 3, the last one, and yeah, it'll be sad. But for the past 2 weeks we watched High School Musical 1 and then High School Musical 2 at the weekends on a watch party together, and I really enjoyed it. High School Musical just gives me you just want to dance and you just want to sing and you just feel all jolly afterwards. But it's crazy how old it is. This year, first High School Musical will be 15 years old, and it just makes me feel old because I don't feel like I was crazy young when it first came out. So yeah, you can tell how much they've aged though. We were talking about it on Instagram as we were watching it, like we were chatting to each other, just like, oh, I remember when all those wide belts were in style and all of those Sharpay's outfits, like she wouldn't be so weird if she was wearing them. Yeah, just High School Musical is a good one to go through. There's also got things like Camp Rock and all of the different like teeny musicals are on Disney Plus. So if you need a pick-me-up, definitely go and give them a watch. Okay, so the last few are on Netflix that I've been watching through. Me and Tom have watched 2 of them and I've watched 2 of them on my own. So the first one is Instant Family, and I have wanted to watch this for so long and I wasn't disappointed. Like, it was definitely a cheesy rom-com family film that you would expect, but I really enjoyed it. It was about a couple who wanted to adopt a child and then they ended up adopting 3. So yeah, you can see where it goes. It's like the struggles of parenthood but also the joys of parenthood and the lovable part of fostering and adopting children instead of anything else. And yeah, it was just funny and it just made me laugh, and it also made me really want to remodel a house because that is their job in the film. The next one we actually watched like 2 days ago and it's Tag. So it's about a group of friends, which at the end they had a video and it turns out that it's a true story about a real group of friends, but in the film it's a group of 5 friends, and I think they showed a picture at the end. In real life it was more like 9 or 10, but it's about a group of friends who have been playing the same game of tag for 30 years, which is crazy. Obviously when they were kids they would play it a lot more, but as adults they were playing it like through the entire month of May, and the storyline essentially was based at a time at the end of May, but one of them was getting married and they really didn't want to have the game of tag played at their wedding, but also the guy who was getting married had never been tagged before. Never. So it was we really want to tag him, but do we want to like ruin his wedding? And yeah, it was just so funny, and it had some really heartfelt bits in it, but also the whole thing you were like, are they joking? Like, or are they gonna, like, is this gonna be real? Like, because they all were very serious about like the game of tag, so they made things up to get out of it. So the whole film you were like, is this real? Are they going to be joking? And it just kept you gripped the whole way through and you wanted to watch it and find out what would happen. The end was very, like, I can't even think of the word. It was a very soppy ending, like about friendship rather than about the game of tag. But it was nice anyway. I'll definitely watch it again, but just not for a long time. But yeah, if you want to watch it and you fancy something that's more of a comedy than like a romance or anything like that, because it was very much just about the game of tag rather than about like relationships or anything like that, apart from the friendship bit at the end, I'd definitely say give it a go. Like, it's filled the time for us. Like, we had the time to watch something, we didn't fancy another Disney one just yet, so we'll put that on, and yeah, it was alright. Okay, the first one I watched on my own on Netflix was Wonder, and I can remember getting this at the cinema and it just seemed really nice, and I watched it mainly because it had Julia Roberts and Owen Wilson in it, and I love Julia Roberts anyway. I've loved her since I saw her as a kid in Pretty Woman and then all of her other films. And Owen Wilson, like, who doesn't love Owen Wilson? Like, you think of Owen Wilson and I think of Marley and Me, so yeah. And it had that same sort of like love and like togetherness aspect, but it is about their kid who has had lots of different surgeries and has a very disformed face, and it's about him like going to school and him being confident enough to go to school, and then about his parents, like how they feel about him going to school, and then all of the other kids at the school. But it's essentially about his life and his family's life and his sister's life and how it affects her and all of that. But it was just nice. It was just made you feel for them, and it was heartfelt and very like, it made you happy when good things happened in the film. So he made friends and all of this, and you just felt so happy watching it that you felt like somehow he was like related to you, or you knew him, and that's why you felt so happy. So yeah, it was nice. It was a good one. If you fancy something soppy but isn't too sad, then give it a watch. Okay, and the last thing on my list I've watched most recently, and since watching it I've talked to some people, and some people didn't enjoy it, so I feel like I'm overreacting in how much I did enjoy it, and that is Prom. I actually really liked it. I don't know if it just came at the right time for me, where I needed something like to give me a mood boost and make me really happy, but it did. It just cheered me up. It was about a school in, I think it was Indiana, and they weren't letting their school have a prom because one of the students was gay, and they didn't want them to bring their girlfriend to the prom. They wanted it to be a fully straight, like heterosexual girls and boys prom. And yeah, obviously a lot of people didn't agree with it, and so they fought against it, and they wanted to have a prom, and it had Meryl Streep, James Corden, and a bunch of other people in it. I can't even name them all. A bunch of other celebrities in it, but it was a musical. And I love musicals anyway. I think if you put anything in musical form and give it a good beat, I will enjoy it. But yeah, it was just a nice film. It had such heartbreaking moments in it, and such, like, to me the soundtrack was really good. I really liked the songs, and like the melodies to a lot of the songs had nice rhythms for me, and I just enjoyed listening to them and like tapping my foot along to them, and yeah, I just enjoyed it. It had a very nice ending, and it had that story arc I'm always talking about, where it has like story builds, and then there's a climatic point, and then it gets resolved, and then it has its happy ending. And yeah, I just really liked it. So yeah, watch it if you like musicals and things that are set in high schools, because it's very high school. It's not High School Musical-y, but it was more, you can see someone would put it on like West End or on stage in general if they really enjoyed it. So yeah, give it a watch if you would like to watch something that's set in a high school but is very, very, very musically. Like, there is a song in every scene. And that is everything. I think I still did ramble. I went on a bit. I've probably cut half of it out, so I'm very sorry if this is a bit jumpy, because I said a lot, and I repeated myself a lot because I couldn't think of words to describe things, because that isn't my forte. But yeah, I enjoyed everything I watched this month. Maybe some more than others, but I enjoyed everything. There's been a lot of good content being put out onto streaming platforms at the moment, which one makes me very happy because I get to watch it, but also two makes me miss the cinema way more. I'll be back soon. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and comment down below on anything you are watching, because I need things to watch, that I need recommendations, because there is so much that I could watch that I get so indecisive about what to watch. So put down in the comments what you think I should watch and what you think I would enjoy or not enjoy, and I'll give it a go and see what I think. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you in the next video.